On Thanksgiving Day, my daughter said to me, "The best gift would be for you to disappear." So that's what I did. I paid off their mortgage, took everything they considered theirs, and flew to Hawaii. But what I left on her desk destroyed them forever. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I reached into my jacket pocket, feeling the envelope's edge, still believing that night would end with gratitude. The dining room felt warm. Too warm, maybe. The fireplace crackled behind me, throwing orange light across the table where my family sat, finishing their Thanksgiving dinner. Through the window, snow fell on Oak Park in thick, lazy flakes. Inside, the chandelier cast everything in soft yellow, making the scene look like something from a holiday card. Maria's photo watched from the mantel, her smile frozen in better times. I stood pushing back from the table with more effort than I remembered needing. 65 felt heavier these days. "Fern, honey." My voice came out hopeful. Too hopeful. "I got something for you. Happy Thanksgiving." The envelope passed from my scarred fingers to her smooth ones. She took it without looking up from her phone, tearing the paper with her thumb, while Sophie picked at her pumpkin pie, and Vernon sawed through another slice of turkey. Alex's screen glowed blue on his teenage face, reflecting nothing. $5,000. The check was generous, I thought. Enough to clear most of her credit card debt, the one she'd mentioned last month, in that panicked call at 2 in the morning. Fern's eyes scanned the numbers. Her expression didn't change. Not a smile, not even surprise. Just nothing. 5,000. The words came out flat, like I'd handed her a grocery receipt. That's it. My chest tightened. Well, I figured it had help with that credit card situation. "You know what, Dad?" She looked up then, and her eyes were cold. Colder than the snow outside. Colder than anything I'd seen in 42 years of being her father. "The best gift would be when you're no longer around." Time did something strange. The fire's crackling faded to a dull roar in my ears. Vernon's knife stopped mid-cut. Sophie's fork hung in the air. Alex's thumbs froze on his screen, but Fern's face stayed perfectly still, like she'd just commented on the weather. I tried to speak. My mouth opened, but no sound came. My hands started trembling, so I gripped the back of my chair. The leather felt cold and distant under my palms. Like everything else, suddenly felt distant. The room tilted slightly, or maybe that was just me. Had I heard her right? "What?" The word barely made it past my lips. "You heard me." Fern set the check down on the table. Not in her purse, not in her pocket, just down like it was trash. "You're always here, always hovering, always controlling everything with your money. We can't breathe with you around." The fire popped. A log shifted, sending up sparks. "Fern, maybe." Vernon started, but his voice died the moment she turned her head. "Shut up, Vernon." She didn't even look at him. Her eyes stayed locked on me. "Dad needs to hear this. He needs to understand that we have our own lives, our own plans, and he's always in the way." "Grandpa." Sophie's small voice barely registered. 15 years of mortgage payments. 15 years of showing up when they called, fixing what broke, covering what they couldn't. The numbers started adding up in my head, even as I stood there watching my daughter explain why the world would be better without me in it. "I just wanted to help," I said quietly. The words sounded weak, even to me. "Help." Fern laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You wanted to keep us dependent, to make sure we'd always need you, always have to come crawling back for money. Well, congratulations, Dad. It worked. We're stuck." Vernon cut another piece of turkey, his eyes fixed on his plate. Sophie's face crumpled, but she stayed silent. Alex scrolled through his phone like nothing was happening. The check lay on the table between the serving dishes. $5,000. Nobody wanted. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I looked around the table at Vernon's avoidance, at Sophie's worry, at Alex's indifference, at Fern's cold certainty. They'd all been thinking this. Maybe not all of them, but long enough for Fern to say it out loud on Thanksgiving. With the turkey still warm and my dead wife's photo watching from across the room. "What did you just say?" My voice came from somewhere far away about me being gone. I said what I said. Fern crossed her arms. And you know I'm right. When you're gone, we'll finally be free. The house will be ours. Our money will be ours. Our lives will be ours. The fire crackled. Snow pressed against the windows. The chandelier's light felt harsh now, exposing every crack in the facade I'd built, every illusion I'd maintained about what my family actually thought of me. I pushed back from the table slowly, feeling every one of my 65 years in my knees, my back, my chest, where something tight and painful had taken root. I think I need some air. The words came out steady, which surprised me. Everything else was shaking. My hands, my vision, my understanding of who my daughter was. But my voice held. I turned toward the kitchen, away from the table, away from Fern's cold eyes and Vernon's cowardice, and the check that represented 15 years of my life rendered worthless. The kitchen door was only 10 feet away, but it felt like miles. Behind me, Fern said something else, but the words blurred into the fires, crackling and my heart's pounding. I walked toward the kitchen, each step deliberate, leaving my family at the table with their turkey and their truth. The kitchen door swung shut behind me, muffling the dining room behind it. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, harsh and clinical after the warm glow of the chandelier. I went straight to the sink, gripping the counter's edge with both hands. The laminate dug into my palms. Outside the window, snow piled up on the back fence, each flake adding to the weight. My reflection stared back from the dark glass. An old man with gray hair and confused eyes. I turned on the cold water, splashed my face. The shock helped. Not much, but enough to pull me back from wherever I'd been drifting. She'd said it. My daughter had actually said the world would be better with me dead. I splashed more water, letting it drip from my chin into the sink full of dirty prep bowls and spatulas. The turkey smell mixed with dish soap, sweet and chemical. My hands found a towel, dried my face mechanically. The door slammed open. "Don't you walk away from me." Fern's voice ricocheted off the tile walls. She crossed the small space in 3 strides, grabbed the sponge from the sink, and started at attacking the dishes with sharp, angry movements. Plates clattered. Water splashed. The sound was aggressive, deliberate. I turned slowly. I needed a moment. "Fern, what you said. That was hurtful." "Hurtful?" She laughed without humor, scrubbing harder. "You want to talk about hurt? Try living under your shadow for 40 years. Try having a father who thinks every dollar spent is a chain around your neck." That's not I started. But she cut me off. "I've spent my entire adult life hearing about your sacrifices. The house, the bills, the kids' school supplies, the car repairs, everything you've done for us over and over like we asked for it. You did ask." My voice came out quiet, steady. "Every time you called at 2 o'clock in the morning because the furnace broke. Every time Vernon lost another job and you needed help with rent. Every time we needed help because you made sure we'd need help." The sponge flew back into the sink with a wet slap. She turned to face me fully, water dripping from her hands. "You bought the house in your name. You pay the mortgage so you can hold it over us. You set it up perfectly, didn't you? Keep us dependent. Keep us grateful. Keep us trapped." The refrigerator hummed in the sudden silence. Outside a car passed, its headlights sweeping across the snowy yard. "I bought the house because you couldn't afford it." I said. "You and Vernon were 3 months behind on rent. You had a 6-month-old baby. What was I supposed to do? Let us figure it out ourselves." Her voice rose. "Maybe we would have been fine. Maybe we didn't need you swooping in to save us. But you couldn't stand that, could you? You needed to be the hero. You needed us to owe you." She moved closer, and I saw something in her face I'd never seen before. Not anger, not frustration, something harder, something that had been building for years while I'd been too busy paying bills to notice. Her finger jabbed into my chest once, twice. Each poke punctuated her words. "You wanted us dependent." I stepped back against the counter. "Fern, that's not true." I wanted to help my daughter raise my grandchildren in a safe place. Or you wanted to make sure we could never leave. Another jab. Make sure we'd always be right here under your thumb, needing you. Because what would you be without us needing you, Dad? Just a lonely old man in an empty house. The words hit harder than her finger. I raised my hands, not in defense, just surrender. Is that really what you think? After everything I think. She paused, breathing hard. The anger in her face shifted to something else. Something that looked almost like pain, but harder. I think you need to hear this. Mom would have wanted you to hear it. Don't. My voice came out sharp. Don't bring your mother into this. Why not? She knew. She knew you were like this. Controlling. Always needing to be the center of everything. Always making it about your sacrifices. Your mother? I stopped. Swallowed hard. Your mother would be ashamed to hear you talk like this. Fern's face went red. Don't you dare bring Mom into this. She's gone because of the stress you caused. Always working. Always absent. Always. That's a lie. My voice stayed quiet, but something in it made her pause. That's a lie. And you know it. Your mother had a heart condition. The doctors explained it. You were there. Convenient diagnosis. Fern's arms crossed. Very convenient way to avoid responsibility. The kitchen felt smaller. The fluorescent lights buzzed louder. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. Feel the counter's edge digging into my back. Why are you doing this? I asked. What did I do that was so terrible? Love you. Provide for you. Try to give my grandchildren the stability you never. We want to move. The words came out fast, like she'd been holding them in. Vernon and I. We want to sell the house and move to Arizona. Start fresh. But we can't. Because it's in your name. Because you'd find a way to stop us. You always do. There it was. The real reason. Not philosophy or feelings or ancient hurts. They wanted the house. They wanted to cash out 15 years of my mortgage payments and disappear to Arizona. I see. The words came out flat. Empty. Do you really see? Fern's voice had shifted from anger to something almost pleading. We're suffocating here, Dad. Vernon can't find work. I'm stuck in retail management. The kids are growing up in your shadow. We need a fresh start. But you won't let us have it. I looked at her. Really looked at her. When had my little girl, the one who used to hand me tools in my workshop and call herself my helper, become this stranger? When had help become control in her mind? When had love become manipulation? I'll leave you alone now. I pushed off from the counter, moved toward the doorway that led to the bedroom hall. Yeah, that's right. Her voice followed me, sharp and cutting. Run away like you always do. Can't handle the truth, so you hide. Just like with Mom. I stopped at the doorway, but didn't turn around. My hand rested on the frame. The house. My house. The one I'd poured 15 years into. Suddenly felt like a cage, but I couldn't tell anymore who was trapped in it. I walked into the hallway, leaving Fern alone in the kitchen with the dirty dishes and the cold fluorescent light. I closed the bedroom door behind me, and sat in the dark for a long time before turning on the lamp. The rocking chair by the window held me like it always did when sleep wouldn't come. Outside, Chicago wore its winter coat, snow falling past street lamps, occasional headlights cutting through the darkness, the distant wail of a siren somewhere in the city.